The wealthy woman and the nobody were stranded on a deserted island. He collected some useful items, made fishing tools from tires and sticks, and quickly caught fish and lobster. Not only that, he also found fresh water on the island, and discovered an abandoned cabin, with a bed and blankets, plus fishing nets and chairs, probably left behind by previous yacht visitors. Meanwhile, the wealthy woman wasn't doing so well. Her mouth was her only skill, but she had zero wilderness survival experience. She wandered for hours without finding anything, seeing Tony eating and drinking well, living like he was on vacation. She slightly lowered her attitude, approached Tony on her own, took off her gold bracelet wanting to buy water and food. Tony didn't want to deal with her. The wealthy woman started cursing again and throwing sand at him. Tony finally snapped, and slapped her across the face. The wealthy woman was completely stunned. Tony fiercely said, "I'm the master now. If you want to survive, you must serve me." Then he threw his clothes at her, demanding she wash them clean in exchange for food. The wealthy woman didn't dare say no, obediently went to wash his clothes, and delivered them. Only then did she finally get to eat some of Tony's leftovers. Suddenly, the rules of the game had changed. The terrified wealthy woman now depended entirely on Tony, while Tony did everything possible to get revenge on the woman who had humiliated him. He'd hit and kick her at the slightest dissatisfaction. He wouldn't let her into the cabin. The wealthy woman could only sleep by the door. Sometimes when bored, Tony would make her dance for his entertainment. The once wealthy woman used to dance only on elegant stages, but now she danced for leftover scraps. Whenever Tony saw the anger and shame, yet helplessness on her face, he felt an intense satisfaction. All the humiliation from earlier days had been returned. But before long, Tony's pleasure disappeared completely, because a month had passed, and they were still trapped on the island. They hadn't even seen a passing ship. As time went by day after day, the wealthy woman's superior attitude had long been ground away. Her lack of security made her increasingly dependent on Tony. She even developed a sense of admiration for him. Tony's anger toward the wealthy woman had mostly dissipated, and stopped giving her just leftovers, teaching her survival skills, showing her how to fish in the sea. Soon the wealthy woman learned to fish and prepare food by herself. As they say, men and women working together makes labor less tiring, making the monotonous days much more enjoyable. Gradually, they developed feelings for each other, and some indescribable scenes occurred between them. Tony had always been just a poor nobody. If not for this accident, he wouldn't have dared even dream of being with a wealthy woman. And though the wealthy woman had wealth and everything, she was surrounded by flatterers, making her feel like she wasn't living authentically. One day while collecting firewood on the beach, she suddenly spotted a yacht nearby. She thought about calling for help but stopped. Clearly, she didn't want to leave, because once they left, she didn't know how to face these feelings. A month later another yacht came. This time Tony saw it. He excitedly jumped up to signal for help, but was pulled back by the wealthy woman. She wanted him to hide, saying living on the island forever wouldn't be so bad. If they went back, they might not be able to stay together. Tony didn't believe that they could still be together even if they returned. He took off his clothes, shouting and waving. The yacht spotted him, and the two were finally rescued. The people on the yacht were extremely excited to see the wealthy woman. Since the day the wealthy woman went missing, her wealthy husband had offered a huge reward, mobilizing massive resources. Hearing this, Tony felt somewhat shaken. At the port, seeing the wealthy woman embracing her husband, he felt indescribable emotions. Although the wealthy man said lawyers would give him a huge payment to thank him for taking care of his wife, Tony's face showed no happiness at all. He just turned around and silently left. He understood that he and the wealthy woman were from two different worlds.